Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Saturday. Welcome in to the Hoops Hour. I am the big man on campus. Hope you're having a great Saturday. We get in here and get going here. One of the last big Saturdays of the season. We are 1 week or so away from, or actually less than a week away. What are we, 5 days away till the first day of the tournament? Selection Sunday tomorrow. It's here, folks. Hope you're having a great day. Let's strap up and strap in and get ready for a big day in college hoops. Make sure you hit the like button and say hello here this morning. It's 10 a.m. Here on the East Coast. Make sure you're checking out everything I have on the channel. I will have some great content this week. Coming up with Selection Sunday, and my hair is all fucked up in the back, man. Not that that's ever new, but you sleep on your hair the right way, you wake up, and whatever. Who cares? But hope you're having a great day. Let's get into the show here. Make sure you're hitting the like button and supporting the show here. Do me a favor also. Make sure you're supporting our sponsor. It's MyBookie. Make sure you check it out. MyBookie today. MyBookie, one of the best books out there as far as selection. You can find really anything you want at MyBookie. You want to bet live. You want to bet, golf odds. You want to bet hoops. You want to bet NBA. Whatever you want to do, MyBookie has you covered. They have a free, not a free, but a $50,000 contest for March Madness. Make sure you're checking that out. Bitcoin withdrawals, Bitcoin deposits, whatever you want to do, you get your money quick. Make sure you're checking out MyBookie today. Did I just wake up? No, I woke up about 9 o'clock, but I haven't really done much. But so make sure you check it out. MyBookie. Use promo code BMOC when you open your account, and you can get 50% off. On a deposit bonus there when you use promo code BMOC. So when you're using BMOC, you put $100 on, let's say, they're going to give you 50%. So they're going to give you free $50 to do your betting. So make sure you're checking out MyBookie today. Also, make sure you're subscribing to the channel. This channel is going to have a lot of great college hoop stuff coming up, Selection Sunday wise. Make sure you're checking that out. That's very important to what we do here. Let's get into the show. A lot to talk about here, a lot to get through. We'll try to get through as many games as we can. And make sure you're retweeting this show, guys. That's really important. Retweeting the show, spreading it out there, and doing what you can do to support us and growing the show. Once you retweet it, your followers see it. They're the ones that are able to get it to maybe people that I don't follow or don't know where I'm at and what I'm doing. So make sure you're checking out the channel. Make sure you're retweeting the show. You can't see me. Okay, well, I'll have to fix that. Either way, it doesn't really matter if you can't see me. It's all about picks. So we're going to get to that. There's nothing really I can do about the camera. I've been having some issues with this camera. I really don't care. I mean, as long as you can hear me, that's all I really care about. Let's get into the show here. 11 a.m. This one's going to get going here in the America East, UMBC in Vermont. Obviously, this is interesting because you look at this line at Bookmaker. This line opened at 12. It's in about an hour. A little less than an hour, not even. It went down to 11. So, I mean, this line's moving down. People like UMBC, and they should. UMBC's been the only team that's handled Vermont this year. Keep in mind, one of those games was without Anthony Lamb, which obviously you're not ever going to play well without Anthony Lamb. He's their best player. I look at this game, though. I have to figure Vermont will win, but I'm not running to lay 11 points here. Look, Vermont generally takes care of business in this conference, but this is a championship game. This is a game where over the years, you have to wonder where Vermont's head's at. Sometimes, this year they've struggled. And what was the excuse in the second game you lost? You lost to UMBC. You lost by 9 in that game. Lamb played. He had 14 points. What was the excuse there? Well, the excuse was you shot 36% and 17% from three. You have to shoot better than that. This is a tough spot. This UMBC team, we know from last year, very, they'll sneak up on you. I don't have much in this game. Didn't really go much after it. Just one of those games where I do think Vermont wins, but I'm not running to the window to bet on them. Let's see what else we have here. My hair. Look at my hair back here. It's a fucking mess, man. It doesn't seem to want to go down. I don't know. Whatever. Let's it just doesn't want to go down. Let's keep it moving here. What else do we have? Penn, Harvard. I'll get to those games a little bit later. That's an Ivy League tournament just getting started today. Wisconsin, Michigan State. Michigan State laying 5.5, total 129. Yesterday, we didn't see a ton. Nick Ward just kind of getting back into game shape. But, look, having him in there is great. I mean, he's a terrific big. He's a guy that I think in this game is really going to neutralize Ethan Happ. Ethan Happ is a guy that, you obviously want to get physical with. Michigan State's, as I said before, been very good as a favorite. They didn't cover yesterday, but this is a team that's won 6 of their last 8 against the number, and one of those was against Wisconsin. Look, Michigan State's just a terrific rebounding team. They're a physical team. And look, I know they're beaten up a little bit and whatever, but I think they're the best team in this conference. I'd be real interested in taking them. I took them to win this conference. I was real high on them. Obviously they're getting the money here. This line's moved up. It's moving the right way. Not one that I had overly a ton of interest in betting on just because, I do have a future on them and I'm kind of just good with that. But I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of all over on this one because Wisconsin will really slow you down. Wisconsin can seemingly stay in games with, the slowing the pace and the guard play. But I don't know. I kind of like just taking Michigan State here if I had to. But again, not one that I'll be betting on. Florida, Auburn. Interesting one here. Obviously, we know all about Auburn. Sometimes Auburn is a team that struggles away from home shooting the ball. I've talked about their issues at times. You look at on the road, which they're on the road here. I think they shoot like 34% from three. At home, it was up above 42%. So, the difference in this team on the road and at home has been light years different. And they're very reliant on the three. Auburn is one of the most reliant teams in the country from three. Ninth in point distribution from the three-point line. Almost 43% of their points come from the three-point line, which is 9th in the country. They're very reliant. But if you look at Florida, they've been really reliant as well on the three-point line. The problem with Auburn is, and the problem that we had with LSU yesterday as well, if you had LSU, both of these teams are bad defensively. Auburn is not a good defensive team. They just aren't. And they are so reliant where if they're not shooting well from three, they're not going to play well. And that's why it's hard to really trust Auburn. And that's why they've had such a weird season. It's so hard to continuously shoot from three and make shots every single night. This is a Florida defense that's terrific defensively from three particularly. They're only allowing opponents to score about 64 points a game. I got to be honest. I've had kind of a thing for this Florida team. I think they're better than people think. I think they have a good group of senior leadership with Jalen Hudson and Kayvon Allen. If they can rebound well, I think they'll win this game. And here's the problem. Auburn can't rebound. The thing you like about LSU against Florida is they can at least rebound at a high level and create opportunities. This Auburn team can't rebound. They just can't. Listen, if I had to play this game, I would take Florida at plus 3.5. Again, no one really believing in this group. I think they're pretty solid. I think they're really good defensively. I think they can create enough in the half court. I love Nemhard. the freshman. He's been terrific for them. I'm not a big Auburn guy. I think they're just too reliant on the three. I don't know if they can create any other way. And I think the guard play, it'll be a good matchup with Kayvon Allen against, a Bryce Brown. And, I like the length that Keontae Johnson and Nemhard have on the perimeter. I think that's going to be a big thing in this game against Brown and Harper. I like Florida plus 3.5. That's definitely something I have my eye on. Florida starts the games like shit. Yeah, but here's the thing, Giuseppe. The game's not for 15 minutes. It's for 40. That's a whole – again, I want them to start better, but I'm looking at this game from a full perspective. Did my play of the day win yesterday? Yeah, I did. I had Florida. Also, want to shout out everyone in here. Thanks for checking out the show. About 200 people in here. Obviously people are kind of they don't know if we're on always. I had a couple of days where I wasn't here, but I thank all of you for joining us. Do me a favor, go on Twitter right now and retweet the show. It's a great way to grow it and get it out to people. Ray Yergs retweeted it. A couple other people. Matt Lawrence retweeted it. Josh, Robert Cash, and Nick Vasilik. Thanks for retweeting the show, guys. The BS call cost LSU an end. What BS call are you referring to? Because I don't really remember seeing any BS calls. You sound like an LSU fan that's upset that they lost. SBR is doing the show at the same time. Okay, well, that's okay. I mean, it's funny with that SBR. I was always very kind in – obviously, there's enough basketball for everybody, right? So their show was always at 11, but you see how threatened they are by me that they moved their show up to 10. That's how threatened they are by me. So, yeah, I mean, that's fine. I mean, I'm happy with one person. If one person comes in here and watches this show, that's more than I could ever do. And I was always very nice to SBR. Even when I left, we parted ways. I was always very kind. I would always get off the air. And that's where for guys like Ian Cameron and Drew Martin, I'm very disappointed, to be honest, because those guys are guys I consider friends. And the fact that they did that is pretty low, because I made it very clear that I would always get off early for those guys. And it's pretty it's actually pretty pathetic, to be honest. And you know what? I don't expect anything different from SBR. That's the kind of guys they are. SBR has been a sinking ship for a long time. Many of you are seeing how many people are gone from there. The true people that are gone from there were SBR, guys like Peter Loshak. And, it's fine. It is what it is. It's just a shame that they decided to do that, but we'll stay strong. I mean, I'm not worried about it. Listen, when I first started this, my goal was to get 5 or 10 people to watch me, a week. I think it's pretty cool that, people actually watch shows that I do, because it's not easy for me it's not easy to like guys like me. Ski Prophet, I know he's liked the show. Thank you, pal. Ski Prophet, a great professional. I wish him a ton of luck. He's a really talented guy, and I consider him a friend as well. I'm glad he's in here. What a great guy Ski Prophet is. It's a shame that loyalty is not it's not something everyone's about. I am. I don't care. No matter what happens, with my friends, I'll always be loyal to them. And I'm sure they don't I'm sure they didn't ask for this, but they should have said something, which I find to be repulsive. But you know what? That's fine. I know where I stand with those guys, and all I can do is worry about myself. But let's keep it moving here and try to. And I thank all of you guys. What a group of great people here. I don't watch it anymore, but I don't think they specifically made the decision to start the show then. They were reportedly told to. Yeah, which I understand. But they could have spoken up and said, we like 11, because the show's always been at 11. This was a move by SBR because they're extremely threatened by what I do. The reason that they wanted me they had a reason that they wanted to be gone was because I started this show at 5 o'clock when SBR for many years I told them to give me a college hoops show, and they didn't. Because the reason SBR didn't give me a show is because they don't want good information on their channels. They're a group of people that are, they didn't like me from the beginning. Zach Jones is a guy that once he got involved with the live process, it became a complete mess. But you know what? That's fine. We're going to keep going. We're not changing. We're at 10 o'clock. They're the ones that changed. We didn't ever change. Let's get into Minnesota and Michigan. I'm interested in this game. Look, I like Minnesota, guys. I've been saying Minnesota. I've been saying Minnesota's interesting. I've been saying Minnesota's solid, and I like Minnesota. I really like what Minnesota's doing. I really do. And you know what? That's the thing, AB. I don't really understand what the point of doing the show at the same time. I again had no problem with stopping early for Drew and for Ian. Those are great guys. And I would definitely stop. And I feel like they should always get people to watch them. I don't really understand why that was done. I think that was a bad idea, but what do I know? Yeah, I like Minnesota. I like them a lot. In fact, I think they can win a tournament game. What I love about Minnesota is they're so physical. They're not going to back down. I don't love Teskey or Brazdeikis. They're good players, but I don't think they're physical. And I think they're guys that can struggle. What I like about Jordan Murphy is he can go out and defend both ways. I don't think that you can continue to think that guys like Teskey and those kind of guys can continue to shoot the way they do. Obviously, getting Charles Matthews back is good. He's a really good defender. I think this is a lower scoring game. I think this game is probably played in the 60s if I had to play it. But I think this is just too many points. I think Michigan's solid. I like Michigan, but I'm not willing to lay double digits here. Minnesota's playing well. They're in the tournament. You got to wonder, though, does that take a little luster off what they're doing? But I think at this point, I mean, we're Final Four in the Big Ten. Let's win this thing. You look at the first time these two teams played, 59-57. And I remember that game because I had Minnesota in that game, plus 12.5. It was a great spot, and they covered. Obviously, Minnesota is real short on the bench. They don't have a ton there. Bench only grabs about 24.7 of their minutes. They don't have a great bench, but they've hung around against Michigan. 59-57, 69-60. That game was obviously a little different. Michigan they'll have 13 threes in that game, and Minnesota only had 1 3, and they still only lost by 9. I think this is a low possession, low scoring game. I'll take the 9.5 points here. What else do we have? Thank you, Ralph. Appreciate that. Thanks for watching. Matthew Knutson, thanks for checking us out. Stu Potter says Minnesota might run out of gas today. Yep, that's surely possible. And this line could be telling us something. This game doesn't go until on 3:30. I'll be interested around 3 o'clock where this line is, if it goes up or down, because I think this is a pretty telling line. I have a feeling this might go back to 8.5 or 9, but we'll see. What else do we have here? 2 Chains. You're the only show I will watch. Thank you, 2 Chains. Appreciate that. It's very kind of you. Listen, I just try to stay legit. I mean, I don't always win, and I don't always have great weeks or great months, but the only thing important to me is loyalty. I will not get away from who I am, and I will not change who I am. It's just not something I'm willing to do. And if that means that, whatever, then so be it. I don't see how SBR can expect people to take them seriously when they sit around and get high on air and talk about partying all the time. There's some good info, but too much nonsense. Yeah, look, I mean, they have a shtick. I mean, they're trying to relate to, they're trying to relate to amateur gamblers, which that's fine. I don't. I've said stuff about those people in the past. I'm not going to do it anymore. At the end of the day, I'm never going to meet those dudes. I don't really care. I've met the good people there that I enjoy, Donnie, and guys like Drew Martin, good guy. Those people are important to me, and I will always I met King Rail, Ski Prophet, and all those guys I always remember and I enjoy. But some of the new guys they have on there, I don't know what the shtick is. Be honest, I would give them advice of, that stuff ain't going to sell at a higher level. I had to learn that. I just don't understand how you can hang out in someone's DM asking them for info, and now all of a sudden you're some big time handicapper. But I guess if you got to do that for $500 a month, that's your thing. Cause I don't know if you watch SPR anymore. All right, guys, let's get back to the card. We've talked about SPR. There's no need to keep reeling on it. The truth of the matter is they moved their show up to 10 o'clock because they were getting beat out by me. That's just the truth. So they try to just move their show up to elicit more viewers. And, this last year, Big Man was unreal. This year's been a struggle. Can't win every year. But I've always put it out there. I had a bad start. It was 0-9. Last 90 days I've done seemingly well. I had a tough run lately, but look, I'm going to keep going. It is what it is. I don't hide from anything. So let's keep it going. NC Central, Norfolk State, final in the MEAC. Listen, I'm going to keep saying it. Lavelle Moten is the best coach in the country no one talks about. He won a game yesterday against a team that he probably isn't as good as. NC Central is full of older upperclassmen, and they're terrific. You look at a guy like Jabri Blount, just a terrific player. This is a Norfolk State team that's made me money this year. I bet on them. I've been on them, but they're not covering a ton lately. They're not winning a ton of games by margin lately. I like NC Central here. I'm gonna come out and say it. I love the experience. 15th in the country. Rayshawn Davis is fantastic. Love Randy Miller and Larry McKnight. And look, I'm not taking anything away from Robert Jones, the coach at Norfolk, because he's a good coach. And this is a game where they probably will win. But if you're going to give me 5 points, I'm going to go ahead and take NC Central. I think Lavelle Moten is the difference in a game like this. I like what NCC does from an offensive rebounding perspective. This is going to be a great game. These are two pretty evenly matched teams. Both these teams are very good offensively. I give Norfolk a slight advantage defensively, but both are very good. I just don't know that I see 5 points difference here. If I had to play this one, I'm taking the 5 points. I think the coaching edge goes to Moten slightly. This is a Norfolk State team that can sometimes bog down in the half court. They're good from three, but this team can struggle in the half court. If NC Central kind of plays up on guys, they're pretty long defenders. This could be a tough day for Norfolk. It wouldn't surprise me if NC Central win this game. When you're taking a dog at 4 or 5, you have to ask yourself, can they win the game? I think they can win the game here. I liked NC Central yesterday. I like NC Central in this one. I think they find a way. And again, you're getting 5 here. How's the 80-1 national title fee? Yeah, I still have that pending. Thoughts on Utah State? I think they'll win today. SDSU, I think, kind of blew their load yesterday. But look, the Aztecs are playing some great basketball right now. They just are. Defensively, they're starting to look like the teams under Steve Fisher, which is obviously terrific defensively. Look, I've been saying it all year. Nevada's a fraud. I'm going to keep saying it, and I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to keep saying it. Nevada's a fraud. I don't care who did or didn't play yesterday. The truth of the matter is, even without Jordan Caroline, you should be able to beat San Diego State. You still have the Martin twins. You still have Porter. You still have Thurman. You still have Jazz Johnson. Obviously, losing Caroline hurts. But even without Caroline, you shouldn't be losing by almost double digits. And it was double digits. The only reason it was 65-56 is because fucking Nevada was fouling, with 3 seconds to go and try to stay in the game. But this game wasn't close. San Diego State was up throughout and never really relinquished much of the lead. So, Utah State's kind of a different animal. I said Utah State will win this conference at the beginning, and I'm going to obviously like where I'm at here with them laying 6 in the tournament final. I think they're going to get a better game in this one than obviously they did yesterday. Fresno offered really nothing as far as that game yesterday. They didn't seem to have much interest. Utah State rolling, but you look at their only loss since January 12th. It was a San Diego State, 68-63. It was an away game. It was a game that they played real well in, SDSU. San Diego State's just defensively very good. They're terrific defenders. They're a team that, can create from the three-point line. And that is one of Utah State's problems. If San Diego State can get hot from three, then they'll win this game because Utah State can't defend the three-point line. They're real good in the half court, but from the three-point line inside, they're not very good. This team is 10th in the conference in three-point defense and 223rd nationally. I think Utah State wins, but I think the game's pretty close. Scheduled to work 12-hour shifts next weekend. I might have to call in sick. Yeah, I mean, you might have to. I'm disappointed in Temple, but let's give props to McDuffie. Yeah, McDuffie killed Temple this year. It's just that simple. I think he had like 60 points in the two games they played this year. Yeah, he was terrific. I'm not going to take anything away. That's a typical Temple loss. I mean, that's not surprising. That's just what Temple does. It isn't a surprising thing that they lost that game. Let's keep it moving here. Memphis, Houston. Look, I'm not stepping in front of Houston right now. Memphis obviously has been an interesting story, obviously hosting this tournament, and they beat UCF. But I really just think they had UCF's number this year. You look at it in large parts of the season, Memphis has struggled and stepping up in competition. Lost to Cincinnati twice, lost to Temple, lost to Houston. It did lose UCF once. This is a team that likes to play with a lot of pace. They're kind of all over the place. They're a good offensive rebounding team. They like to go quick and get into the lane. This is a Houston team that they're just not going to really be able to do that against. And right now, offensively, Houston is rolling. I mean, they dropped 84 yesterday, 85 against Cincinnati, 90 against SMU, 99 against East Carolina. I mean, they're just rolling on offense right now. This is a bad defensive team in Memphis. I think they're going to play with a lot of pace, which that's not going to work against Houston. Houston's going to slow them down, get them into the half court, and it's all going to be bad from there. Houston wants to run and kind of get up and down, something that UCF really wasn't able to deal with. And they kind of were able to control the tempo at home. That's not going to happen against Houston. It's going to be a lot more difficult. You look at this year, Houston in the country, number one in effective field goal percentage defense. Opponent shooting just 42.8 effective. Terrific numbers, a great three-point defense, a great two-point defense, just a lockdown group. And right now, look, Houston is the cat's meow. I mean, everyone playing well for them. Jeremiah Martin was kind of shut down yesterday. You have to figure that's not going to last long, but it's going to be a tough ask today. I don't want to step in front of Houston. I would look to probably grab them laying the points here. Not a big fan of laying points like this in a conference game, but in a conference tournament game. But I think it's warranted here. Tennessee, Kentucky. Look, I think Kentucky will beat Tennessee. With Reed Travis in there, I don't think they're going to win. Reed Travis was integral in the first win. He wasn't in there in the second. They lost. It's all about Reed Travis. Reed Travis is a guy that is a senior, a lot of leadership there, great defender. I really like this Kentucky team. I think long term they're going to be just a real tough team to beat. They're young, they're spry. They have that leadership by Travis down low. Keldon Johnson's fantastic. PJ Washington, just love Kentucky. A big fan of them from a long-term perspective. You look at the money in this game, though. Sharp split, Tennessee, Kentucky with getting the public money. I wanted to point this out quick. I didn't necessarily see this until now, but did anyone see the kid that egged the politician in Australia? Did anyone see that? These politicians basically taking questions, got a few reporters in front of him, and there's a kid behind him. I think he's like, I don't know, probably 15 or 16, and he's filming the interview, and he looks like he's just like some kind of, I don't know, blog or something. I don't know, but he literally eggs this dude like right as he's speaking, and the politician turns around and throws a punch. Just a savage move by that kid. I didn't see that until now. They got people egging politicians. That's amazing. Do I agree with money line parlays? No, I don't. I'm not really someone that does that. Um, he got all charges dropped and released. Wow, how did that happen? How do you get all charges dropped? The politician, you're saying, or who got charges dropped? I mean, if you're the politician, I mean, I don't know that you press charges there. I mean, I know it's an egging, but it's a kid, and kid maybe is just kind of, I don't know, misunderstood. Who knows? But yeah, that's crazy. Where does Greg Peterson rank in terms of overall skill set and performance compared to the field of cappers and analysts we should have heard of, such as yourself? I think Greg Peterson is a good college basketball guy. He knows a ton. I've talked to Greg. I mean, Greg and I have pretty much the complete opposite as far as handicapping thoughts on how we do things. Greg's obviously very high volume. I'm very low volume. But I'm not saying that, that way is bad. I think it's hard to maintain consistency doing it like that. But it's also a thing where if you can have a good day, let's say on a Saturday, you bet 200 games and you win, 120 of them. I mean, you can do pretty well. I mean, you can make a lot of units quick. You can lose a lot of units quick. Greg's a smart guy though, and he's a kid that puts a lot of time in, and it's how he likes to handicap. I think as far as overall skill set, I think he's very smart. I'd put him up there with, with anybody. There are guys that know a ton and win. If you're asking me about just overall knowledge, I think Greg's just right up there with anybody that does this as far as one of the best. I think some of the most talented people in college hoops are Greg, you know, Mike Randall at Action Network, Eli Hershovic at Action Network. Those are two really talented people at that company. I think they're wasted there. Andy from Deep Dive, I mean, he does a lot of good stuff with mid majors. He's more of a model guy though. Yeah, his knowledge is terrific. He knows a lot. I've talked to Greg about doing a show together. He obviously works for a company that puts out shows, but I think as far as knowledge, I don't think there's anyone more knowledgeable than Greg or I from that perspective. If you're saying about who's the best winner in college basketball, I don't know. I'm not really sure that I could answer that. But I think there's some talented people out there. Am I able to comment on what happened with Peter Loshak? Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know what's up with Peter. I don't. I've heard rumors, but I'm not willing to share them. It's not my business. It's not my job to share info on Peter Loshak. Just probably understand Peter's probably fine, and he's just decided to move on. You can't. You guys, you can't continue to batter a man while he's down. And SBR doesn't treat people well. That's just that simple. It's nothing against them. They just don't feel like treating people well is the main objective. They're willing to pay people the lowest amount of work, and they expect them to do all this stuff. SBR is a company that has changed a lot, and I think Peter is a talented guy. He'll be fine. I would love to have him on my own show and talk with him about things, but I'm sure he's fine wherever he is. And I wish him the best. He's a great guy. He's one of the first people I did videos with about 5 or 6 years ago. And I hope he's okay wherever he is. I tried to reach out to him on Facebook and he didn't answer. Usually he'd always answer. I don't know. I don't know. But at SBR, they don't announce anything. They just kind of put it off, like people are just going to forget. And the listeners and then the audience don't deserve that. They feel that it's just okay to pay some random kid, some money, and he'll do whatever you say. It's a shame, but I don't know the story, so I'm not going to comment on it further. But I just know he's not there. I have no idea why Rico Bosco blocked you. Rico blocked me. I actually was a big fan of Rico, but I took Blackjack Fletcher's side when they were warring, and Rico wasn't happy with that. He also tried calling me out because I asked him to come on my show one time. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure Rico's tune will change soon. I have to try to chat with him. He's a great guy. He's funny. He's a passionate guy. I actually was a fan of his. Let's keep it moving. Let's go through some more games. What else do we have here? Texas Southern Prairie View, pick'em game, SWAC title. That's going to be a great game. Buffalo Bowling Green. I mean, does anyone think Bowling Green has any shot here? It's kind of crazy that Bowling Green's even in this tournament final. It's a tough thing to navigate this conference, getting through all the games, and there's so many teams, but good for Bowling Green. I mean, they weren't playing particularly well coming into the tournament. They lost 4 or 5, but it's all about a new lease on life, guys. I mean, can you find a way to forget about what happened before and figure it out? Here's what you like about Bowling Green. Okay, they're good offensively. They're the best offense in the conference other than Buffalo. They're a team that doesn't turn the ball over at all. They're just too dependent on the three-point shot. But, hey, if their threes can drop, I think they cover. I think Bowling Green hangs around here. It's a final. We all know Buffalo is not a great defensive team. This should be a high-scoring game. Should see plenty of points. Obviously, the total's high for a reason. Tournament overs, they generally say you don't want to bet them, but this does look like a game that could be a fun one. Penn Harvard, don't really have an opinion. UMBC, I think Vermont wins, but I'm not really looking to get involved with it. It's a big number. Anyone like Texas State? I've kind of they haven't been a team that I've had a ton of luck with this year. Texas State, the Sun Belt's a tough conference. Seton Hall, Villanova, no opinion. Florida State, Duke, no opinion. West Kentucky, Old Dominion. West Kentucky getting a lot of love here. This line's moving up to 2. This line was, when I started the show, Old Dominion was the favorite. Now they're a 2-point dog. Fascinating if you're looking at this game. This is a game that Old Dominion has won twice. The first time they were down 21-0 early, came back, won the game. Second one in their place, they were able to find a way and get that one done as well. It's hard to beat a team 3 times, but this is going to be one of the better games of the day, if you ask me. I think this game is about a coin flip as you can get it. Both these teams know each other well. Look, for West Kentucky, it's all going to come down to, do they turn the ball over or do they not? They're a young team. There's 318 experience in the country. They're a team that can, really hurt themselves with turnovers. It's been one of their Achilles heels all year. If they don't turn the ball over, they'll win. But that's a tough thing to kind of gauge. Old Dominion defensively as good as it gets. Look, this is a game, to me, I think it's first to 60 win. I think 123, I'd go under. I think this is a game where it's probably played in the 50s. And I know that's hard to believe just because, there are some offensive firepower, but these teams are very slow tempo-wise. It's a championship game. They're both terrific in the defensive half courts. You just got to hope there's not a ton of runouts here. And, both these teams decent at getting to the line, but not great. I think this is a great defensive battle. I think it comes down to the wire. I think it's like a 57-54 type of game. I'd look under the number. I had Oregon in the future. Should I hedge or let it ride? I would hedge. I think Washington's a better team. I don't love Oregon tonight to win. I think they can cover. I don't love the way Washington's playing right now. You look at this team. Yesterday I thought they were a good matchup against Colorado because Colorado can't shoot threes. And against a zone like Washington plays, you got to be able to shoot up and over the top of it. Colorado was 6 for 24 from 3. That's why they lost the game. They weren't able to, constantly get a ton of production. But look, Thibault's as good as it gets. Noel's the player of the year in the conference. Dickerson is a load down low. He had 11 boards and 10 points. He was magnificent. Dominique Green and Carter were great off the bench. Washington's really good. Defensively, they're fantastic. I think this is another low-scoring game as well. Oregon can go long stretches without scoring. They're good in the half-court defensively. You got to wonder, though, that was a long game last night. Played overtime. Arizona really gave them a big run. This is going to be you talk about a great game. 10:30 p.m., probably not going to start until, actually we'll start at 10:30 because there's no other games in this conference. But, I mean, the only problem is we got fucking Bill Walton, that lunatic, on the call. But at this number, it's almost too good to be true, isn't it? It's got to be Washington, right? Look, I'm going to bet. I'll bet Oregon to beat me. I don't think they can beat Washington, but and they actually just did on a couple weeks ago. Actually, about a week ago, I believe. I think it was a week ago. Yeah. Washington really struggled to score. It was a low-scoring game. I think it's the same kind of game here. I mean, Washington's not going to go 3 for 20 from 3. Guarantee that. Thibel's not going to have 6 points. But Lewis King is really good. Pritchard was fantastic in the last 4 or 5 minutes in overtime. Ehab Amin last night was a player of the game, in my opinion. He was great. You got to also wonder, guys, this is an interesting spot. You look at Oregon, okay? They played 3 games in this tournament already. Washington didn't play in overtime yesterday and has only played 2 games. You got to wonder if legs become a problem for Oregon late in this game. As far as the common thing of Oregon wants it more, I don't buy into that whole thing. Both these teams want this game. I'm not knocking you, Frank, for that pick. I think, if you have a feeling, you should go with it. But I think this is a tough spot for Oregon. I mean, this is 4 games now. One of them was an overtime game. Your opponents only played 2 games. I mean, they've played 1 less game than you. That's tough. I mean, getting that kind of advantage is tough. I understand. Just that. I'm not trying to say that I think that it will be. It is something to worry about, though. It's hard to play 4 games in 5 days. I mean, one of them was an overtime game. I don't care how young you are; it's still tough, and you're still going to lose a bit of strength at the end of the game. But look, I'm not going to try to sell people. I like Washington here. If you guys like Oregon, that's definitely your thing. But in a kind of a perspective of when you're looking at a game like this, where it's a pick'em type of game, where you have to win the game. There's no points involved, really. You're not getting 4 or 5 here. You got to look at little things. And let's be honest, guys. I mean, Oregon was hideous last night from the foul line. They just were. Washington's got a slight advantage there. They're a bit better. They're a team that, I think is less tired, let's say. Which, again, I'm not using that as a way to bet this game. Look, if you like Oregon, bet it. It might not mean anything. These are young kids, but these are also kids that, are just like everyone else. Eventually they get tired. I think, though, which is interesting here is Washington doesn't have a great bench. They pretty much go 6 or 7 deep. Oregon can go 8 or 9, so that could help. Washington gets very little on the offensive glass, so I wouldn't worry about that. This is a great matchup, but you got to look at little things here. If Oregon turns the ball over, if either team turns the ball over, it's a fascinating matchup. But I thought Washington was the best team all year, and I think Washington is going to be the best team here. So you look at the first game these two teams played. It was a low-scoring game as well, 61-56. Best play might be the under in this game. It's who turns the ball over less. I think that's going to be the winner here. And I think Oregon definitely has an advantage there. Please hit the like button, guys. Thanks for watching. I appreciate all of you, all the great conversation. Thank you, Nuke Worker. Your opinion has me less on Oregon than I was before. They're tired and have been playing a lot. I agree. I think you should trust your instinct, though, Frank. I mean, if you like the game, we're all just kind of giving our opinion here with this game just because it is such a close game. But, I just think Washington – I just think they're tough, a tough unit. I think they find a way here. Best part about being at the game is I don't have to listen to crazy fucking Bill Walton announce the game. Yeah, last night I thought it was pretty pathetic how he literally leaves the booth to go to the bathroom during a timeout, and he doesn't get back in time, and you see him walking like back to the thing. It's like, what the hell are you doing, Bill? It's not it's not halftime. What are you, a woman? You can't handle your bladder? What are you, 80 years old? I thought that was really unprofessional by Bill, but he's incredibly unprofessional all the time. So, look, I guess the problem that I have always with Bill Walton is like ESPN's so buttoned up. And it's like if you were just like, yeah, we don't worry about Bill, we just let him do whatever, fine. But you're so buttoned up really everywhere else except Bill Walton. It's like he doesn't wear a suit, he doesn't do anything. Is that his decision or what? I just don't really understand why they keep him around. I don't understand why I guess because he gets people to watch the games. I don't know. You wonder what he's going to say next. But I listen to his commentary a lot of the time, and I feel really like awkward. Like I don't know if you guys watched last night where like Pash would say something and he'd be like, give me a break. You can't be serious. Like just weird, I don't know. This is weird. He's a weird guy. Do I have a pick for OKC Warrior game? No, I have no idea. I haven't even looked. He's high as a kite. Yeah, I know, but you shouldn't be doing drugs before you do your job. Yeah, the shtick is lame. It's just kind of lame at this point. What's the entertaining matchup for you today? I think the most entertaining matchup for me today is probably going to be Old Dominion, Western Kentucky. I think it's a great game. I think Old Dominion is slightly better, and I think they just have WKU's number. Going to be a fascinating game. And then obviously, all the games are going to be good today. I mean, I think if you can't get interested in watching this kind of stuff, I don't really know what to tell you. Wichita, Cincinnati. Wichita's playing well. Greg Marshall, no one's talking about Wichita. Greg Marshall hanging around, hanging around. Kids got to alligate their blood. It's this hanging around. Yeah, listen, guys, you don't have to ask me if I have a premium. I will get everything out. There's no rush. Games aren't starting until 1:00. There's no rush. Give me Gus Johnson. I'm not Gus. I hate Gus Johnson. Gus Johnson's repulsive as well. Bill Raftery, very good. Pay that man his money. He beats me straight up. Pay that man his money. He beats me straight up. Of all the games we talked about, which one do you like best? I'm not doing that today. I've talked about the games. Take my opinion for what it's worth. We'll do one or two more, and then we'll wrap up the show here. Does Iowa State win the Big 12? It's starting to look like that, isn't it? I thought they'd beat Kansas State yesterday. Without Dean Wade, Kansas State's not very good. I think this game's high scoring. You see these massive moves down in championship games. I think this is going to be a game that gets into the mid-70s. Not every game goes under in these conferences. I mean, I think it's interesting how people everyone blows the unders in all these games, and that's fine. But if you're not getting the opener, you're just not, you're not really getting a great. You're betting the worst number. And look, I hate doing that. Yesterday, I had that happen to me. I took Florida at plus 2.5 because I thought that line would bounce back to 2. And the whole world would be like, why LSU only laid 2 here? And I thought Javonte Smart would be out because why wouldn't he be out? He was involved in a wiretap case. But scammy shithead LSU decided that it was okay that he could play. Naz Reid was questionable. I thought I was getting a great number with the 2.5. That one goes up to 4 at one point, and I got the worst number. But I was able to win. But yeah, I mean, if you don't get a number early, so if you have a number 149 and it's at a 143 and you're betting the under, it's not a great spot to be. But yeah, I still think this game goes over. West Kentucky play of the day, says Giuseppe. Good luck. I don't know if I'll put my money on it, but I like the Lopes. Yeah, I like the Lopes as well. I took them to win this conference at 500 or 5-1, plus 500. I don't think people understand what going to the tournament would do for Grand Canyon. They are a for-profit business, basically. They have stock options. They are on the stock exchange. This would be gigantic for stockholders. Guys, it's funny. Here's how I know Grand Canyon's doing things the right way. I went down to my parents yesterday to have dinner with them, right? And I was sitting there. My dad and I were watching South Carolina Auburn, and we were talking about the mob hit, and we were just talking about random stuff. And my dad says to me, he goes, "The tournament starts next week, right?" I said, "Yeah, it does." He said, "Are the Lopes in?" I said, "What do you mean the Lopes?" And then I remember him and I about a year ago were talking about the stock options for Grand Canyon. And I was telling him how they kind of operate and stuff. And he says this, is Grand Canyon in the tournament? I said, well, no. I said they're in the semifinals, but or they're going to go to the semifinals hopefully, and they if they win tomorrow they'll get in. And he even asked me. My dad's not a big sports guy. I learned kind of the sports stuff from my grandpa. But that's how Grand Canyon's kind of doing it the right way. My dad knows who they are, which is pretty impressive. When I was growing up, everyone hated Walton because he was a hippie who ripped the government peace protesters. Yeah, I mean he's a peace kind of hippie. What's up, Michael? No problem. But yeah, they have a great fan base, and they're a good basketball team. They really are. They gave Grand Canyon or they gave New Mexico State runs in both games. I think tonight that's going to be a great game as well. Great atmosphere there. You can almost expect that's going to be a raucous crowd. But at 3, I think that's just a bit too low. If I was getting 6 with Grand Canyon, I'd be all in. But yeah, I'll be hedging on Grand Canyon, and I'll make some guaranteed money there. I don't usually hedge at 5-1, but I just don't know that Grand Canyon can win. I don't have a lot of confidence. I was trying to look at it as from a hedge opportunity. So, look, if I was getting 5, maybe I'd have more interest, but I'm going to pass on this one. But yeah, that's that, guys. We're going to wrap it up. Do I think college games are rigged? I think all games at some point are rigged. Do we overrate Central Florida? They're capable of making a run. There's no difference in my feel on them. I think they make a run still. Whether they did well in that conference or what, it didn't matter to me. Bet Garcia Spence to go over. I agree. I like Spencer to win. Thanks, Ben. Appreciate you watching. Did I cover Wichita? I didn't cover it. I just talked about how well they're playing. I don't like Cincinnati really. So, yeah. I mean, why can't Wichita hang? Thanks for watching, G Coop. Thank you, Nuke Worker. LTDT. Robbie Top saying Rhode Island, ? Yeah, knocked VCU out yesterday. Losing Marcus Evans was disastrous, to say the least. Bonaventure not playing at home, so that's obviously not going to be helpful there. Yeah, I like Rhode Island. Fats Russell's terrific. Great guards in that conference. Thank you, Stu, G Coop, Jordan, Ace Johnson. Already talked about it. Marco, Gebetted. Thanks all of you guys for watching. Listen, guys, want to announce something here. I will have a Selection Sunday show tomorrow. Guests are going to be on. I'm kind of connecting everyone right now. So I will have a good group of people, I'm hoping, if I can get the right people. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and don't miss that. We'll take a look at the brackets. We'll talk about the matchups and all sorts of things and try to have some fun with those. So make sure you check out the Selection Sunday show. I try to do it every year. Last year I did it with SBR, but this year it won't be with SBR. It'll be obviously here. Also, guys, make sure you're checking out my bookie. If you need a new book, you want a new book, you want an extra book, check out my bookie. Use promo code BMOC when you open your account. You get yourself a 50% deposit bonus. Make sure you check it out. My bookie. Use promo code BMOC. Get in the game today. You can get in before the game start. Mybookie.ag. When you open your account, new counts only. Promo code BMOC. I have no idea. You'll have to watch Twitter. I have no idea what time the show will be. I would probably say it'll be at 8 o'clock, maybe. We'll see. I have no idea. Also, I'm probably going to do some kind of bracket contest. Don't contact me about it. I'll have something today out about it, where you can go to find it, and where you can go to join. Listen, don't waste my time. If you're not going to pony up, don't contact me. I'm telling you again, if you're not going to pony up and get involved, do not contact me about it. I can't go back and forth on, well, maybe I'll join. Listen, it starts tomorrow, okay? I'm probably going to have it $100. Don't contact me if you're not playing. You know, I can't go back and forth with you. Either you're in or you're out. I'll let you know on where we can do that and how that's going to work, and that will work. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why your messages were blocked. How many times rollover? I don't believe it's much. I think it's pretty small. You have to read the rules. I don't read the rules of service, but I'd recommend anytime you sign up for something, make sure you read the terms of service first. Everyone have a great night. Thanks for watching. Maybe I'll be on Periscope a little bit later. We'll see. Have a great night. Bye-bye.